Hi, I'm Bruce Carton. I'm here again with John Stark, and we are here to take a look at the final three panels for tomorrow's Incident Response Forum 2020. And yes, I said tomorrow. We kick off tomorrow, 8:15 a.m. on Tuesday, April 14th, 2020. John, it's very exciting. Welcome.
Thanks, Bruce. As I understand it, we've got over 1,100 people signed up.
11:17 as of last time I checked. So yeah, there's going to be a full house here online. If anybody's interested in the field of data breach and incident response, this is where you need to be tomorrow, Tuesday, April 14th. And secondly, we have over 40 of the top lawyers, consultants, prosecutors, and regulators in the world lined up to speak. Again, not something you should miss if this is a field you're interested in. Just register through the link accompanying this page when we're done in just a minute. So, John, three panels left to highlight on the day. Can you take us through the final three?
Sure. The final three panels are the California Consumer Privacy Act and the GDPR, a panel just about that and how incident response is impacted by those two mammoth statutes. The next panel is cyber insurance and class actions, two areas that have experienced a lot in the last year and very worthy of updating. And then finally, financial firms, which is the only panel today that we really spotlighted on one area of cyber in particular with respect to companies. And I think the reason we did that was not just because it's a great area, but also because we got some great panelists. So for the CCPA GDPR panel, moderating that is forum veteran Travis LeBlanc, who is a partner at Cooley, and he really prides himself on working amid the juxtaposition of cyber and business and law. He's got a hefty track record of accomplishments, and he's just terrific, not just as a moderator, but as a contributor to the discussion as well. Really looking forward to hearing what Travis is up to. Jennifer Beccaj is on that panel. She's, of course, the famous from Beccaj LLC. She started her own law firm, and she's very entrepreneurial like everyone else we're hearing from today. She even had her own startup before having her own law firm. And her law firm is very different from just about any other law firm you know because it only does cyber. And we're very excited to have Jennifer. Her firm has grown exponentially, and she is a real pro. Also on that panel is Saren Turner from Latham & Watkins. He's a partner there who does cyber, former AUSA from the Southern District of New York, but probably most famous for his prosecution of Silk Road, which was, and I think remains, probably the biggest cyber fraud takedown in law enforcement history. So very excited to hear from Saren. And then, as we have in most panels, we have a government participant, and we have the perfect one here since this is a privacy panel. The biggest government agency having to do with privacy, the Federal Trade Commission. And we have a real expert from there, James Trilling. He's a senior attorney there, and he's worked on just about all these big cases from the government perspective, including Uber, Wyndham, Cyber Spy. So very excited to hear what Jim Trilling has to say and what the FTC's perspective is. So that's the first one, Bruce, privacy, which I think will be pretty big. Next up is cyber insurance and class actions, another very important panel. And Kari Rollins will be moderating this from Shepherd Mullen. She started as a commercial litigator, and her clients were always asking her to do privacy litigation. So now she's really become one of the bigger cyber litigators around. She's on all sorts of important committees and all sorts of different groups where she organizes a lot of the thought leadership on cyber. And she's one of those real 24/7 cyber lawyers coming to us from New York. Very excited to have Kari on that panel with Scott Goddess, of course, who's been with us every year. He is, I don't think, the undisputed champion of cyber insurance. I don't think there is a lawyer on the planet who knows more about cyber insurance.
Good thing to be an expert on now, right?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, Scott argued two cases in the 11th Circuit, two cyber insurance cases. So, and not only, I don't even know how many of those cases have ever even gone to appellant, to some court of appeals, but two of them that have gone to the 11th Circuit, Scott argued them both, which is very, very interesting. So can't wait to hear from Scott has to say. Then we have Kenneth Dort from Fagra Drinker, the recently combined firms. What I like about Ken's resume is that it's just a lengthy laundry list of cases that he has litigated by name. So he's probably the most seasoned litigator that we have of the entire day. So very interested to hear what Kenneth Dort has to say. and interested in hearing his perspective. I'm also on that panel, and I can't wait to participate with these guys. It'll be toward the end of the day, but it'll be really, really good to stick around for. Finally is the Financial Regulators panel with Elizabeth Gray. And Bruce, you know Elizabeth for how many years?
Many years from the SEC.
Yep, she was at the SEC when both of us were there. She was in charge of the SEC's microcap unit. Liz is fun to have on this panel as a moderator because she also does a lot of crypto. Even though crypto and cyber are really quite different, there are some areas that are kind of mixed together, especially that these crypto firms should have cybersecurity. So I'm interested in hearing what Elizabeth has to say on the subject. Then we have someone from Citigroup, Ali Kershan, who we've never had anybody from Citigroup before. We've never had Ali before. And if you think about Citigroup, they're a giant public company. They're also a giant regulated entity, probably with dozens and dozens, probably more than 100 regulators on them every day about cyber. So really interested in hearing what Ali has to say. She's been working at Citi since 2004. And then we're really lucky on this panel to get Christina Lippmann, Bruce. She is the chief, the newly anointed chief of the SEC's cyber unit. The SEC has 6 specialized units. One of them is on cyber, and Christina is the chief of that. She just was recently appointed. She's come out swinging with a couple really big victories, especially in the Telegram crypto matter. And I really very interested to hear what her say. I've never even heard her speak before. So I want to know what's new over there and what she's focusing on. And then finally rounding out is forum veteran Edward Mcnicholas. Ed Mcnicholas's IR experience is probably the most broad and varied of everyone today. He covers a lot of cyber has been broken up. You've got financial firms, retail firms, healthcare firms. They all sort of have their own way and their own approach, and Ed's one of those guys who can do it all. So those are the last 3 panels, Bruce. Very excited. I think it's going to be a long day of terrific panels. So hopefully everybody will be nice and relaxed and be able to watch them all.
That's awesome. Thanks for the final 3 preview. So that's a wrap for our video series previewing Incident Response Forum. The event is tomorrow, Tuesday, April 14th, 2020. That's Incident Response Forum, a virtual event, and we will see you there. Thanks.
Yes.